In case you missed it, here's Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.
Good morning, it's Dave and Cheryl, and we've got a couple of great web finds to tell you all about. This first one is one that a lot of people were sharing over the last little while. Have you had a chance to see this one yet?
I haven't.
So it's pretty incredible. This video has gone viral of a car doing what seems to be an impossible U-turn on a very narrow mountain road. It appears to be inches away from plunging over the side, but it's really not. So a different angle shows there's another road below it, on top of the fact that it's a professional driver. Now, if it had been you and I, we probably would have rolled the car onto that road that was underneath.
Yeah.
But the visual option of it makes it appear as though they're right on the edge of a mountain cliff.
Yeah, and that if they fall off, they're tumbling down a ravine.
But I mean, it was pretty impressive because he had to turn the wheels probably 25 times.
So instead of that's not a U-turn. That is like more of a 3-point turn plus
times 10.
Yes.
A 30-point turn.
And finally, if you make it to 110 years old, you pretty much get a pass. This great-great-grandmother recently celebrated her birthday, but when she's reminded that she is turning 110, she does not believe them.
Get older on your birthday?
Yes, how old are you?
I have no idea.
110.
What?
110 years old.
10?
110.
I don't believe that.
No, you look like you're 21.
Why, sure.
And just as beautiful as ever.
Why, sure.
Yes.
110. I like how she's like, no, I don't believe that.
I love too that I was like, she understands and can hear every word you're saying. She's like, I'm 10? 90? I don't know.
110? Come on, man.
Yum. Science. It's not rocket science. Check it out. I blinded us with science.
We've got some science news for you, including this one. The James Webb Telescope reached its parking spot last Monday about 1 million miles from Earth. Now, they still need to align the mirrors. That'll take a little bit. NASA says it'll be about another 5 or 6 months before we see the first pictures, but they're expected to be spectacular.
Now, I was going to say, too, transmitting the photos, that probably takes a little while to get there. I mean, it's 1 million miles away.
Well, as long as you don't, pick up the phone when they're sending them, and you get that little screechy sound. All right, who picked up the phone? We're trying to get pictures from space.
Hey, get this. An old SpaceX booster from a 2015 launch is going to crash into the moon in about a month's time. The math nerds who track space junk just realized it's on a collision course. It should happen about March 4th. And they say this is the first time we've ever accidentally landed something on the moon.
Well, that's a little concerning. Last thing you need to throw the moon off a little bit. Did you see on the weekend how spectacular the moon was? It had like crescent kind of corner of the moon.
I was out very early because my dog decided to wake me up very early
Same.
Saturday morning.
Yeah, same. We were up very early too. It will probably never know the exact year the huge asteroid killed off all the dinosaurs. It was around 66 million years ago, but scientists may have figured out what month it was by looking at the fossil record. They think it happened in early June
Based
of the
on
year it happened.
Migration patterns, the plants that are fossilized.
And all of that was probably in their systems.
And finally, get this. Could humans soon have the ability to regrow their limbs? Team of researchers in Massachusetts say it could be possible. They just did it with a frog that lost its leg.
That's amazing.
Regrow it.
I mean, the practical applications obviously are all over the place with that. Pretty amazing. There's some science news. Well, here we are, February the 1st today, a brand new month. So what are some of the things we can look forward to this month?
Well, coming up, of course, we've got Super Bowl 56 between the Cincinnati Bengals and the LA Rams. That'll be taking place on Sunday, February the 13th. The weekend after that, February 20th, will be the Daytona 500. Although before that, I believe this weekend, they're doing this thing called the Clash at the Coliseum. Have you heard about this? They've actually put a racetrack inside of the LA Coliseum.
That's kind of a neat
on
idea.
on top of the football field. And they're going to race inside there, although I believe that's sort of just like a preseason warm-up kind of thing. Also, can't wait for this. The Winter Olympics kick off tomorrow. The opening ceremony isn't until Friday, though, but there are a few events that'll take place before that.
Lots of stuff on TV. If you're a South Park fan, they return for its 25th season tomorrow night. The new Pam and Tommy miniseries, well, that hits Hulu tomorrow. NBC's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air drama reboot called Bel-Air, that'll premiere on the 13th. Looking forward to that one. And then you've got other things like the original Law & Order returning for its 21st season on February 24th, 12 years after season 20 aired.
Bit of a gap there. When it comes to movies, the new Jackass Forever opens up this week. Are they still doing that?
Making money.
Yeah. The rom-com Marry Me with Jennifer Lopez, that hits theaters in Peacocks streaming service on the 11th. And there's a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming to Netflix on the 18th. And then this year's Oscar nominations will be announced a week from today on February the 8th. The ceremony will be taking place March 27th.
And then you've got the big days. Of course, you've got Valentine's Day on the 14th. But then you've got Family Day on the 21st, of course, a holiday for many people in the province. And the entire month of February is Black History Month. We were talking about that earlier. Here in CK, they're going to be recognizing that today.
They're doing a flag-raising ceremony at noon at the Civic Center, which with a number of local organizations. Also, tomorrow is Groundhog Day. Have they replaced Wyerton Willie yet after last year's Schmozzle? Because apparently he passed away.
There's been a few over the years, right?
Yeah, well, they have. But here's the thing is, he's a white groundhog, right? They're not as easy to find. So I don't know if they ever got a replacement groundhog.
Just go with a regular one, I guess.
I don't know. Do you hold up a stuffed animal instead?
Pizza Day is on the 9th. National Guitar Day is on the 11th. Drink Wine Day on the 18th.
I'm going to merge Pizza Day and Drink Wine Day.
And Margarita Day. Combine them all.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, Margarita Day is February 22nd.
Well, let's be honest. We're all a little obsessed with the weather, especially, when we're getting winter storms and things like that coming through. And we've got a couple of weather stories for you.
Yeah, the state of Minnesota is doing something Chatham-Kent already did. They're holding a vote to name their newest fleet of snowplows. Some of the names that are being voted on this year include, these are ones that I haven't seen before. Control Salt Delete.
Fantastic.
Edward Blizzard Hands.
Love it.
And Scoop Dog.
All fantastic.
All of the entries very clever and catchy, as are the names. Sweet Child O'Brien, because in some places they spray like a salt brine down. And William Scrapespear.
Some people are just so creative. I love it.
Well, every one of them has a fair shot at being selected. So they are looking to get 8 new names for snowplows this year. But I definitely think Betty Whiteout is a shoo-in. I think they did one of those in Michigan. They renamed all the snowplows, and they did it by region. Like, there was hundreds of them that got named.
I love Control Salt Delete. That's got to be one of my favorites out of that list.
That's genius.
Well, if you think you've experienced harsh weather lately, be thankful you aren't in Florida and in Iguana. With temperatures in Miami dipping to 10 Celsius, which, we're like boo-hoo, but that's cold down there. Well, meteorologists were warning to watch out for falling iguanas. As one reporter put it, iguanas are beginning to get sluggish or lethargic once the temperatures drop below 50. But once the temperatures drop below 45, they go into a dormant or a cold, stunned state. Yeah, me too. Same thing.
Same.
Problem, iguanas often sleep in trees, so when their bodies go dormant, they tend to fall into streets, cars, pools, or even on people. And keep in mind, we're not talking about tiny little lizards. Adult males can reach 5 feet in length and weigh up to 20 pounds.
Imagine a 20-pound weight just falling out of a tree and smacking you. Like, you get knocked out.
Or on top of your car. Like, that'd be a good loud
Try explaining that to your insurance. Well, why did you get a dent on your roof? Well, an iguana fell out of a tree.
Sit down. I got a story for you. Don't be too alarmed, though. Overall, they say the iguanas return to life as the temperatures rise again, which also is probably a little bit strange to see because it looks like they're dead, and then 2 degrees later, they're up there and they're jumping around. So something they need to watch out for right now in Florida. So what's that line? When the temperature drops below 45, they go into a dormant or cold, stunned state. I think we all have had that the last couple of weeks with all the cold weather. Well, in 2022, there's a lot of different ways that people might find a cheating partner, like maybe text messages or perhaps, computer searches and things like that. This is a very unique 2022 way that this woman found out her new boyfriend might have been cheating.
Her name is Jen. She lives in Pittsburgh, and as sort of a side job to make a few extra bucks, she will drive for Uber in the evenings and on weekends. And she's gone viral because she apparently caught her boyfriend with another woman after she picked them up as their Uber driver.
Wah, wah.
So apparently she asked the guy. Now, here's a caveat. Apparently, they only recently started dating. So I don't know if they had come to terms on if
They were exclusive?
Exclusive or dating other people yet. But she'd asked him if he wanted to hang out last week on the Friday. And he said, no, I'm going to the Penguins game with a buddy. So she was like, cool. Decided to run as an Uber for the night to make a few extra bucks. Well, a few hours later, she stopped to pick up her passenger, and it was him with another woman.
Yeah, the woman who was with him booked the Uber. Otherwise, maybe he might have realized, oh, wait, that's my new girlfriend, and canceled the ride. Now, Jen says he didn't know it was her until they locked eyes in the rearview mirror. Oh, boy, how awkward that must have been.
Oh, she says he stayed quiet the entire ride, didn't talk at all. They did talk later, though, and he told her, well, the other woman, she's just a friend. But then Jen found out through mutual friends that it's actually his ex-girlfriend.
So, well, they eventually hashed it out. He apologized, not clear if she plans to keep dating him or not. To me, that's a bit of a red flag.
Yeah, even if you are not mutually exclusive, the fact that he wasn't really honest with you, like if he had said, oh, I'm going with, one of my friends to a hockey game. And the fact that he said buddy, I don't know, that kind of alludes to another dude.
And still perhaps holding a flame for the ex. But boy, what a unique way to find out. The other day, I faced down a childhood fear. And it's going to sound dumb.
Was it a spider?
No.
That's just a regular fear.
Yeah, I just don't like them. But when I was a kid, we were at a grocery store up in Northern Ontario where I grew up. And there was a lady grinding coffee, right? Mm-hmm. And so my mom was kind of like walking around that aisle. And those are the days you just kind of ran off a little bit, Lord of the Flies. You were kind of independent. Mm-hmm. And so she had finished. And then I thought, I'm going to go and press the button on that. So I did. And coffee started spewing out everywhere because I think she had left a bunch of beans in there.
Oh.
So somebody come running over. Oh, I got to clean this out. And coffee spewing over. And he's like, did you do that? I'm like, "What?" I ran away, I think. I was probably 6 or 7.
Okay.
Maybe. And ever since then, I've been paranoid about coffee grinders. I always feel like I'm going to put in too much and it's going to spill out over the top of the bag and someone's going to yell at me again.
But here's the thing, because I do this too. I use the grinder at the store. If you fill up the bag and then put it in and then grind it in, it'll be the right amount because you use the bag as a measure.
I always have this inside fear that...
But then, because you get those people who leave some of the coffee behind, and then you're just like, what the heck? You get weird mix of coffee.
I just always think it's going to spew out everywhere and start spitting coffee all over the floor. So I actually faced down that fear the other day. I know it sounds dumb. I know it's irrational. But I actually, used the grinder, and I walked away kind of proud of myself. How many years later... I just a bit of a paranoia. I just always felt like, well, what if it doesn't turn off? What if it just keeps going?
So if you've bought whole bean coffee before, do you have like a coffee grinder at home?
Yeah, we have a little one at home.
But you wanted to do like a big batch all at once.
Yes. And I wanted to just do it because I thought, okay, this is dumb. I've got to be able to just do that.
Yeah, because I don't have a coffee grinder at home. That's why I do it at the store and then...
But at the same time, I put in like a half a thing of beans and then grinded it. Saw where it was in the bag.
Is that what you did?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Was your wife there? I hope she made fun of you.
No. I did it all by myself, Cheryl. Face down that fear. So,
do you want a gold star for your work?
Well, in Chatham-Kent, we're certainly known for our crows. There are a lot of them. But there's a California town that's been overrun by...
Peacocks. Yes, peacocks, the bright, colorful birds, have been clamoring on housetops and people's front lawns and porches while pooping literally everywhere. This one resident said that they're reproducing and causing so much property damage. And when they stomp on your roof, it actually sounds like a person is up there.
Wow. Well, they're big birds.
And a postal worker says if you get too close, they charge at you. with the whole feathers up. So the city has actually contacted a wildlife service group to try to have them humanely removed.
I've never heard of something like that before. I didn't know that could be a thing necessarily with peacocks. But I guess if they're there and reproducing.
So do people just let two loose, like domesticated ones, like let them roam loose, and the next thing you know, they've taken over the entire town?
Like the Adam and Eve of the peacock world. Hey, a picture of a great white shark seen in Mexico looks just like the classic poster for the movie Jaws. The owner of this travel Instagram account took the photo off the coast of Mexico showing the 13-foot shark that they named Nicole jettisoning out of the surface of the water, jaws open, poised to strike, just like that poster of the movie.
Da-na,
Da-na. So they say when sharks are serious about catching what she calls hang bait, they often make a fast vertical approach from underneath the water, and then they'll jump up sometimes like that. My daughter would have nothing to do with it. When we went to Cuba, we had to drag her into the water because she was freaking out about sharks. I said, well, you got to go in once, so at least say you were in the ocean.
Yeah, but did she get that from you? Weren't you afraid of sharks after you saw Jaws? I thought you told that story one time. You thought they were going to get you in the lake in northern Ontario.
The lake that was the size of a thimble.
Gotta watch out for those lake sharks, Dave.
You gotta be careful. They can get up on land.
And finally, this next story would be your worst nightmare, Dave. And the worst nightmare of anyone who's not a fan of spiders. Imagine you're on your way to work on the subway, and you look over, and there is a tarantula. That's what happened to passengers on a London Underground train recently. Apparently, they spotted the spider in a plastic tub on the train when they got to the London Bridge station. So someone calmly was able to pick it up. Thankfully, it was already in the container. So someone picked it up, contacted, security for the London Tube, and was like, here you go.
Here's a little present for you.
We found this on the train. It was identified as a pink-toed tarantula, but they believe someone actually abandoned it because no one ever came forward to reclaim it. So they think someone abandoned it, which then just makes me sad because it's like, well, that was a pet.
Got some Olympic facts for you.
The estimated budget for this Olympics is $3.9 billion. And while that is a lot, it's way less than the amount they spent for Sochi. That cost an estimated $50 billion.
Wow. The estimated ad revenue, $600 million. That's actually down about 10% from 2018. It's been 14 years since China has hosted the Olympics. The 2008 Summer Games were also in Beijing. By the way, Beijing now the first city to host both the Summer and Winter Olympics.
Now, the city that is hosting sort of the skiing events out in the mountains, it is a 3-hour drive away from Beijing. But if you take the intercity railway, it's only 47 minutes. It's actually the world's first driverless high-speed railway.
2,900 athletes expected to attend the games. 45.4% of them are women. That makes it the most gender-balanced games in history.
91 countries are participating in a record 109 events across 15 different sports.
And 7 new events this year, too.
Yep, like the women's monobob. It is a solo bobsledding event. That one looks really cool. They've also added big air skiing, mixed team snowboard cross.
Oh, that looks fun.
Mixed team aerials in freestyle skiing, mixed team relay in short track speed skating, and mixed team ski jumping.
And with the time difference, of course, there's always going to be things happening throughout the morning. And as we get results, we'll certainly pass them along.
You've been listening to Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.